As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shoots Magoots. What's up, Shoots?
Same panic, different disco. You know how it goes. No, honestly, we are in a different panic, in a different disco.
Same panic at the disco, as they say.
Here we go again. One of the bros is sick. Find out who.
It's me. I'm
It's
sick.
Steele.
I feel horrible, and I'm going to call it the Red October flu. So for those of you that follow us on social media, you might have noticed that I was down in Texas this past weekend visiting my daughter for 5 days. It was incredible. We had an absolute blast. I got to watch her cheerleading. She did like a cheer camp, and then on Friday went to the high school football game, and it's like Troop, Texas versus ARP, Texas, and they're like 5 miles apart from each other. Get this. They're both the Tigers. They're both maroon and white.
Interesting.
And they're rivals, right?
I imagine that the away team's wearing white, right?
I forget. But I wasn't watching. I was watching Poppy. So that's the thing. Like, they came out on the sideline and they cheered for the entire first half with the older girls. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen. I took like a million videos. I was 1,000% standing in the way of multiple families trying to watch their children play football. But fuck your kids. I'm trying to watch Poppy cheerlead. But it was awesome. But here's how my week went, okay? So last Wednesday, I went to the Phillies game.
Yes.
Got home late, adrenaline pumping. I don't sleep well when I travel. My flight was at 6:30, so I had to get to the airport about 4:30, right? Maybe 2 hours of sleep. Land in Texas, have to record with you, drive 3 hours out to Troop, Texas to go get my daughter. Stay there for the night so I can watch her in the football game the next day. Drive back to Dallas 3 hours. Stay in Dallas until Monday. All right. Tuesday morning, I fly back at 6 a.m. Had to wake up at 3. Land in Philadelphia. Had about a 3-hour breather and then down to the Phillies. And then I had to wake up at 6 o'clock this morning to go train people. So I think I'm running on like collectively 5 hours of sleep over the past 7 days. It is Poppy related and Phillies related. So at the end of the day, 1,000% worth it.
I fully get that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Look, I know how the flu goes. I had it a couple of weeks ago. It was not fun. You said before the show that we need to stop kissing. I disagree, actually. I think Kissing Your Boys is back. Kissing Your Boys is absolutely back. If anybody was watching last night, Rojas and Castellanos shared a little warm embrace. There was a little smooch going on in there. Kissing Your Boys is back. Some people say it never left. I think it's back fully. So here we are. I'm
That's
definitely
our
not
current
going to kiss it
event
right now, though. But yeah, no, I feel that entirely. I had to go to back-to-back games. If we're looking at it like this on an aggregate score, though,
Yeah.
the games that we've been to, it is, I think, 26-2.
It is.
The boys are cooking.
Boys are cooking. The overalls are working. We're 3-0 in the overalls. But other than that, let's get into some business, pal. Do you have any current events for us?
No, dude, the current events is just Phillies, really.
Yeah, you're going to have to check in with us after Red October.
It took me 4 days to recover. I just today started feeling fine.
Really?
Yeah, like it was a full recovery. Friday did absolutely nothing. I ate ice cream and ate pizza in that order, actually, on Friday night.
That's
by
good.
myself.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, naturally. Saturday, I think I went to the mall for about an hour and got really tired and went home.
You went to the mall?
Yeah, I went to the mall. I go to the mall to like clear my head a little bit, you know?
You're that guy.
Yeah, I get a
Do
little
you sit on the mall benches?
Fuck no.
You're not that guy.
No. And don't even ask me about the massage chairs.
Do you sit on those?
No, God, no.
Oh,
I
was
think those
gonna
things
say.
are disgusting. I've never seen one of those things sanitized ever. And you just see like tired dads walking around with their daughters. And they just want to sit down and like they'll zone out and just either fall asleep or
I've
just
seen a guy fall asleep in a massage chair without anybody massaging him.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
I get it.
Well, since we don't have any current events, I saw somebody asked in the comments if we could do a similar power rankings as last week, where we ranked, what show did we rank? RHONY?
RHONY.
They want us to power rank Southern Charm this week.
Oh,
So I thought that was a good idea. So let's do a guys.
idea.
We'll do a guys rank, a girls rank, and then a top 3 and bottom. Just a bottom one. So guys,
Why don't we
girls.
just put them all together? You're just making multiple categories that create one big category.
In my brain right now, this makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
All right, just rank them then.
Okay. I will put. See, it's tough. You're right. I think you are right. I think we do have to go guys and girls, just because it's really tough to overanalyze things. But
Ass hat.
right now, and it's so funny because it's like sympathetic too, because I feel bad for a couple of the cast members.
I think I know who you're gonna say, and it's just like the
weirdly
whole thing's
enough.
weird.
No, you know who's number one? Madison.
Really
I've got Madison at the top.
interesting.
Madison even being at Whitney's house that night when when Austin and Shep had to have their little powwow about everything. Her being there was funny. It is funny. She is just there to be. She's the meme of standing over your enemy's grave and being like, "I had to show up to the funeral to make sure you were actually dead."
I actually do appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just funny. It's really great for TV,
And you
but
know
it's
what?
also just funny in life.
and Austin deserves it.
And he also didn't care. Like he came out and she goes, "So did y'all fuck or what?" And he
That's
looks
your
at her.
Southern
That
accent.
was my Southern accent. Yeah, she has a way more pronounced Southern accent than everybody
She
else on the
does.
show. Sometimes I think it's fake, but that's neither here nor there.
No, she's not from Charleston, right? I thought she was from like actually somewhere more further out west
Somewhere further southern, would you say?
with a thicker accent. Charleston accents tend to not be as prominent.
No,
There
definitely
are parts of North and South Carolina that are like a
Yeah.
thicker accent,
in
but
the sticks.
yeah, if you go out in the sticks. But Charleston tends to not. You get a little twang,
Okay.
but
Getting derailed from our power rankings immediately. We're talking about
it doesn't
accents.
take long. Doesn't take much.
Especially in your state too, because I have the tendency to just kind of go off the rails anyway.
I
And now
usually
you're
rein us in.
Yeah, you're indulging me at this point. This is bad. So I've got Madison at the top. I'm going to put Craig right behind her. And it's really mushy in the middle.
I agree with that.
I guess I'll put Olivia at 3 because I feel bad for Olivia. She's just kind of getting railroaded for all of this. And then it's just like a mix of Austin, Taylor, Shep, Vanita, who doesn't do a whole lot, but she's getting a little bit more screen time. I want a little bit more from her because I feel like she can bring a different element to the show. And JT is at the bottom. In lieu of everything that's going on right now, JT's still at the bottom because he won't shut the fuck up about bro code. If he says bro code one more time, I'm going to fly down to Charleston and hit him with a golf club.
We're gonna change our name. It will no longer be the BravBros.
I didn't even think about
This guy's
that. That's
killing
so
us.
bad for us. Dude, I know they say no publicity is bad publicity, but that is.
It is.
I don't want mommy milk boy over there talking about bros.
Mommy Milk Boy.
I swear he said mommy milk at one point in time, but whatever. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. I know it's not a very regimented power rankings, but that's how I feel.
I respect your feelings. Here's mine.
Thanks, pal.
Number 1 for me is Olivia, actually, because I think she's handling this thing very well, and she's getting put in some bizarre scenarios, like just creepy almost. I did not care for the dinner scene. It made me gave me the heebie-jeebies legitimately. So I'm gonna say Olivia's number 1 because I appreciate that she's getting all this shit thrown at her and she's staying pretty tough.
Yep.
Number 2, I'm going to go with Craig. I like Craig on Southern Charm. He's a different guy. He's much more well-rounded. He has emotional intelligence on this show.
I don't know if you can say at this point that you like Craig on Southern Charm because I'm thinking back to just this past season of Summer House. He was fine there.
Oh, you're right. I think I'm still stuck on Winter House, and I need to move on from it. 'Cause
You
I think
do.
That's when he was kind of goofy.
Yeah, he was really goofy at Winter House. He was also very goofy when Austin was terrible on Summer House. Which
That's
is
a good
2 seasons
point.
ago
All right,
now.
I'll give Craig. Yeah, you're right. 'cause
So yeah, I think Craig is. I think we're just watching in real time Craig grow up.
Craig's cool now.
Craig in a real relationship and kind of removing himself from situations with Shep and Austin is helping him grow up.
I agree. Okay.
Craig.
So Craig, not just Socho Craig, flat out Craig number 2.
Socho.
Southern Charm.
You don't have to say it. I know what you're.
Socha. Socha's probably better. Socho doesn't sound as
Okay,
good.
go on.
3, Madison. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's kind of a weird
Right?
blend.
I don't know where to put them. Like
I think that,
I think weirdly enough, I put Shep above all of them.
I can't ever, just because I know who he is, and I think that he's getting a weird pass this year because of what's going on, and it negates everything that he did because you can't compare the two, and it's impossible, right? But it doesn't take away Funny side note, by the way, somebody in our comments told me to stop saying right after I make points. They're like, you make good points. You don't have to like convince us that you're correct by saying right at the end of it. It's like, look,
I
that's
love
just how
the
I
corrective
talk.
backhand. Like it's a compliment.
Yeah. But it's like,
But
settle
at the
down.
same time, just stop saying right.
No, I'm going to keep saying it. But I just think that he's getting a weird pass because you can't compare what he did to what Taylor did. But at the same time, he's still not a good dude. But he's getting this weird sympathy card from the audience because people feel bad for him. I found myself feeling bad for him until I'm reminded, like, wait a minute, you're a dirtbag.
I think he's got a tiny bit of self-awareness this year, which is way more than he's ever
That's
had.
a bold statement. I think it's way too early.
There's a couple of statements that he's made that sounds like he is at least somewhat self-aware, and it could just be him not being in a relationship. It could just be obviously confessionals happen after things happen, so maybe he's getting a little bit of perspective from all of this because he's been railroaded. But
we'll talk about it.
yeah.
We'll get there. And then Vanita is not on my rankings only because, like you said, I want to see more out of her. For better or worse, I need to see what she can bring to the table. I feel like she always gets the phone call from somebody.
Always Madison.
You know what I
gets
mean?
Phone calls from Madison.
Or her boyfriend that we've seen once or twice, but like that's the extent of her involvement thus far, and I don't know if that's her fault even. So like, I would like to see her do more, and I'm curious to see if they're going to give her more of the limelight at some point, if she's going to step into this situation in some way, shape, or form. But then last for me is also Jay. Actually, no. You know what? JT's before Shep and Austin. I take
Okay,
that
wow.
back. Because JT is good for the show, dude. I know that you hate him. And
I just don't think he's good for the show. I know what he was there for. He's a plant to get us to talk about how Olivia slept at Austin's house, or that Taylor slept at Austin's house. That's all he was there for. And now he's just talking about it over and over. We're getting to the point now where everybody knows what happened, and we've gone deeper than what JT knows. So we have no use for JT anymore. He was a plant by Bravo, by Southern Charm, to go there to say, hey, give us a little bit of insight on Austin and Taylor's relationship. Well, I heard that she slept at his house. Awesome, JT, thank you. Well, I also heard that she slept at his house, and he violated the bro code. Bro code? What? Professional? What the fuck was...
Professional courtesy.
It's just, he's done. We're done with JT.
So
He doesn't...
he's a plant,
what did he do in this episode that makes you think, wow, he's great for the show?
This episode, no. But I'm just going off of like... He's been good for the show up until this episode. But if you're saying that he's a plant, would you say that he is already wilted?
Yeah, I think he's a plant that sprouted and then just never flowered.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, that's a perfect segue. Let's jump right into Southern Charm. The first thing I want to point out, and I saw this, and you're normally the resident ratings guy, Southern Charm is crushing it this season.
Yep.
And Salt Lake. Both are doing like over 1 million.
I think they're on really good nights, if that makes any sense. I think that Tuesday through Thursday is the sweet spot. Sunday night is tough. Sunday night has to be really tough.
Especially in the fall when you got football on. And
yeah, it's football. And look, I'm not, who knows if people are even watching football on Sundays. It's also just the end of the weekend, and maybe you're not tuning into something that's airing at 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. You just kind of like ease back in. I feel like that Tuesday through Wednesday is such a sweet spot, and that's Salt Lake's on Tuesday, Southern Charm on Thursday night. You could sit down on a Thursday night, have a couple of glasses of wine, have a couple of cocktails, have a couple of day chasers.
No,
you might think that maybe you're getting a little hydrated. You're not.
You're
drinking.
not. That is alcohol.
Yes, it is. But I feel like it's in a really good spot, and it's also captivating right now, and it's a little different than what the housewife shows have shown us so far, so I think people are kind of geared up for it, and I like it.
Do we have Beverly Hills on Wednesday coming up? Oh, that's a great lineup.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be awesome. I'm excited for that. And we might have a little guest coming on to talk about Beverly Hills. Hint, hint. We'll see. But let's jump into this episode. We start out with the conclusion of the conversation at Whitney's house, and Shep and Austin are sitting there, and I have a question for you, because at the end of last week's episode, you said, I don't think that anything happened between Austin and Taylor. Given the fact that we know that they made out, do you think that they did more than that, or do you think they just made out?
Weirdly enough, I am taking them for face value.
You think they just kissed?
I don't know. I don't know why. I have no idea. It's a gut feeling, and I don't typically have gut feelings on things like that.
Okay.
Usually I am pessimistic.
You're usually on the other side.
Yeah, I'm usually way on the other
That's why I'm
side.
giving this more merit,
But
honestly.
for some reason, something feels off about the whole thing. All of their interactions, the way they talk to each other, the way they talk about each other. It just, something feels really off to me. And I don't think that I don't think it transpired further than that.
I'm curious if we're going to get more. I still think there's more to it. There's no way, especially if it was a drunk moment and they were at Austin's house. She said, we were at Austin's. You're telling me that they were lit. She slept there. They kissed, and that was it?
Or did it happen in New York?
Not even an OTPHJ?
Or did it happen in New York?
She said it happened at his house, but I mean, at this
Somebody
point,
else said New York. Somebody said his house.
I think that Olivia said New York and she said his house.
Oh, okay.
Or was it Austin told Shep that it was at his
See, that's it gets murky.
It doesn't. We just
Already
forget
getting
what
murky.
they said.
Which it could be murky for two reasons. Either I'm going to go tinfoil hat and say that they didn't do anything and this is all for the show, or I'm going to say there's a lot more here and that's why they're not matching up their lies, which we've already seen.
Time will tell, but the whole scene to me is weird because Shep, all he wants to do is forgive Austin. He's just looking for a reason to be like, yeah, you know what, man? Like, it's cool. Like, I don't understand why you did that. And like, but I love women. Like, the worst thing you could say right there is, I love women. Like, I get it. You just want to bang them all. I want that one. I want that one. I just want all the women all the time. It's like, even in a moment where you're trying to let Austin back into the fold with you, you're still being gross. And this is where I get like reminded. It's like, yeah, you're literally saying, I totally get it, man. This is just the one chick you couldn't step out on. Like, that was the only time. Like, everything else is fine except for her. And the fact that he has this weird principle around just Taylor, but everything else is fair game. I don't think that he has the right to demand anything from anybody. And again, I think that we broke it down correctly last week. This is no longer an Austin and Olivia problem. This is a Taylor and Olivia problem and a Shep and Austin problem. They need to figure it out separately. They don't need to come together, and we'll see that play out later.
But I do think for that situation, for what Shep was talking about, one, him saying I love women and I get it, that's him being very true.
It is.
That is him being true to a fault. And in that moment, he's saying that, and I fully believe him. I understand what he's saying.
That's 100% true.
And with that being said, two things come from this. One, his friends have always been above any relationship that he's ever been in. All of them. Except for Craig now with Paige. This is the first time that we're seeing any of the three of them in a relationship where they are putting the girl that they're dating ahead of their friends.
Sure.
They always have that weird incestual friendship going on that they can never do anything wrong. They're always going to support their boys no matter what happens, even if it means that they're going against their girlfriends, which we have condemned them for in the past. We're seeing this happen now in a much different way. He's ready to forgive Austin immediately. And he does not want to lose Austin as a friend because where is Shep without a friend? Shep just went on a solo journey to Australia and South Africa and then back. He was sad. He came home and he's like, I'm excited to be home. I haven't seen my friends in so long. You see Austin wake up in the morning and he says, I feel like I haven't seen my friends in so long. Like, I've got nothing to do. You're out of town. Shep's over in Africa. I just don't know what to do with myself. Without their friendship, none of them can really do a whole lot. So he's afraid to lose Austin as a friend. And the best part, he now feels vindicated.
But that's soft.
I get
I'm sorry.
that.
It's just like
It is soft.
And I don't understand. Like, just because you're afraid to be lonely, you're going to just flat out forgive a guy that we see him battle with this throughout the episode. When he's reminded of the fact that they kissed, he's like, God, I really hate thinking about it. It's like, because you're not over it. Craig highlights it perfectly. He's like, you need to address this because it's going to blow up. And again, emotionally intelligent Craig, thank you, sir. But it's a great point. Like, you can't sidestep it and push it down because you're afraid to be alone. Like, that's fucking
That's also going to give Austin more power, too.
I agree.
If you do not strike down with the power of 1,000 suns, then he's going to say, wow, Shep was really cool about that. I wonder if that means that I can actually have a relationship with Taylor.
Right. It
That's
leaves the
what's
door
going
open.
to happen. That's the byproduct. And look, I mean, we've never really seen Shep just get visibly angry with any of them to the point where I'm not going to be friends with you anymore.
Oh no,
He gets angry
even last year when
he got angry last year because Austin outed him for hooking up with a girl in North Carolina when they were visiting somebody in Charlotte. But he's coming back now, and this is a real reason to get angry with one of your friends, and he doesn't take that opportunity. Austin is a dog. We say this all the time, sometimes in a loving way, sometimes in a mean way. He is a golden retriever. If you do not correct that action, he's just going to go right back and do it again.
That's really good. Let's keep moving. This is where we get your boy JT. And why does he have such like? You are not involved in this, buddy. You have no.
But he's good
room to talk. This is what I said. He was not great this episode, and I don't understand. It's like, hey, scorned little boy, she doesn't like you. Just because you continue to try to be her knight in shining armor, like, are we really going to just let this go? If they choose to, yeah, JT, because it's none of your fucking business. And the fact that you now want to get mad at Austin for lying to you, you're not part of the crew. Craig can be mad at Austin. Shep can be mad at Austin for the lie. JT, he doesn't owe you anything, pal. You're not involved in this scenario. So, like, go sip on your bottle. Go sit in the corner and take a few plays off. This is where I got frustrated with him because, again, and I agreed, as soon as he started talking about bro code again, I'm like, you don't know bro code. And if you have to keep saying bro code, it just shows that you're not down. So you need to shut up, stop getting involved in this. And I can even hear Craig's tone. It's almost like Craig's just like, yeah, like listening to what JT is, like just kind of humoring him. Like, yeah, I know it's kind of fucked up, but like, it's really none of your business at the end of the day. You're not part of this. So that I agree that was a tough scene.
Also, isn't it against bro code to invite a bro's ex-girlfriend to Europe so that you can potentially hook up with her?
1,000%.
You're plotting on Taylor. You're the biggest issue with the bro code.
He is anti-bro code. By going to, the only reason that he didn't violate bro code is because Taylor hooked up with his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get over it. You're out. You're fucking out, buddy. But this is where we get Leva and Olivia at the brunch, and this scene was tough to watch because it's like foreshadowing. It's like they're talking about, if you found out that anything did happen, what would that do? And Olivia's like, I would be done at that point. Like, I'd be done. We already know that more happened at this point, so we're just kind of listening to these two go back and forth. And this is why I like Olivia, because in this moment, she has every reason in the world to be like, you know what, Taylor, you lied to me about whatever relationship you two had, her and Austin. You weren't forthcoming about it. Like, Olivia has every right to be angry just at that alone, kiss aside. But she's still trying to find a way to work it out, and not in a Shep way where it's like, I just want everyone to get along. It's more so like, I really care about Taylor, and I thought that we had a connection. I want to figure out a way to like move past this. However, I'm really hurt, and I don't know if I can. And if one more thing comes out, I'm fucking done. Yeah, that's a reasonable response, and that's why I like Olivia. She's got her shit together, and like clockwork, the next scene is Austin at Taylor's apartment, and I couldn't help but just that setting alone. And I know it's a show, and I know they probably were like, "Oh, you can go over here today," but you shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be in that house.
No, just logically speaking, it makes no sense for the very next morning after this happens for you to go over there. Does she deserve a phone call as a heads up? Because clearly we know that they tried to coordinate a lie, and Austin completely just threw her under the bus.
Oh, he fucking... Yeah.
He absolutely saw the bus coming, tripped her, and then shoved her into the middle of the bus path. Him going over there makes zero sense. Well, I brought you a 6-pack of Trop Pop. Taylor having a beer in the morning, wild. Not sure what's going on there.
What do you mean? I know exactly what's going on. She's spiraling. Even Austin's surprised. I know. He's like, whoa, what? Oh, you're going to have one.
So funny, but he has to go over there. Like, she deserves a phone call. We should have a FaceTime coordination going on here. Let her know what you told Shep last night, because you know how this friend group works. Everybody's going to know what happened. Obviously, you then told Madison and you told Craig. Everybody now knows what happened within a couple of hours. So I actually looked back and thinking, somebody probably told Leva what happened too. So when she's sitting there with Olivia, she made the business decision. This is not my place to tell you what happened.
I think she knew that. Yeah.
Watching her reaction to everything that Olivia was saying, the way that she was probing with her questions, it seemed like Leva was not letting on as much as she actually knew. And that's just who Leva is, and we've seen that in the past too, and I respect her for it. But Austin going over to Taylor's was wild, and it was like, I got flashbacks of Sandoval going over to Raquel's, where the dog comes over and starts sniffing him. He's like, hey, buddy. It's like, oh, he knows you.
Yeah, he knows that dog.
Same thing with Taylor's dog. Taylor's dog starts running over to Austin. Like, how often are you at her house?
Frequently.
And like, I know that we've been discussing how close you guys have gotten as friends and everything, but to the point where I think you're probably there multiple times a week, and she's probably at your house multiple times a week. It's weird. You guys are now caught, and you're still repeating the same behavior. It's going to blow up in their faces in one way or another.
Well, they deserve it
Even
to blow up
more
in their
than it
face.
has.
It's just, and Olivia says this later to Austin. She's like, I don't know how she hasn't seen you for who you are. Look, is Austin good for Bravo TV? Yeah. Does he push the drama? Is he entertaining? Is he fun to watch in like a happy way sometimes? Yeah. Like when he's with the boys or when he's in his element and not being an asshole? Yes. He's all of those things. He's also just a dirtbag, man, and he's so selfish. Like,
But Taylor has seen him in his element.
I agree.
She's seeing it in
No,
real
I
time
know.
closer than anybody else has seen
but
it.
she's looking through it.
She's naive.
Exactly.
We've seen her in the past with Shep.
Shep.
She was super naive the entire relationship. She let a lot of transgressions go. She let a lot of things go without like looking deeper into them or having any sort of discussion with Shep. And we used to rip her apart for doing that because you're not asking any questions. You're afraid to know the answers to. You're letting Austin play this
And
exactly
dictate it.
how he wants. And Austin, look, for what he is, he doesn't really have much of a plan. He got pressed, and in that situation, he did not lie to Shep, which, kudos-ish, I guess.
No, not kudos because of how he set it up with, because Taylor, the only reason, I believe this firmly, the only reason Taylor didn't come clean to Olivia is because Austin was in her ear like, no, you can't say anything.
She said that.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I'm saying like,
She even used the word script.
I agree.
Which is crazy.
I know, it's not
on a
wild?
reality TV show.
I know, I thought the same thing. But Austin has no issue breaking that code. And like, he literally, after telling her, yeah, I did that, I totally threw you under the bus. The next thing he says is, but I've never felt more liberated. Good for you, dude. She's up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, but you feel fine because Shep doesn't give a shit because Shep's weird. So you get a get out of jail free card because Shep is an asshole.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Olivia, who has a good head on her shoulders, is never going to come back around to Taylor because you ruined that chance. Had Taylor in the beginning said, you know what, we were drunk, we kissed. As soon as it happened, I knew it was a mistake. It never happened again. There's a chance for reconnecting there. But now that she's doubled down and lied to her face twice, I don't know if you can reconnect there. And that is solely because of Austin. He's the only reason that didn't happen.
And Olivia and Taylor being friends was just convenience. I don't think that they make a whole lot of sense as actual friends for the reasons that you just laid out, where Olivia actually has a good head on her shoulders. Taylor just kind of does what she says, or just kind of does what somebody else says. And that's where she is. And right now we're just stuck in a vicious cycle of everyone's afraid to lose their friend or someone that they're close to in this situation. So they're not doing anything worse. They're not getting mad at each other. They're just kind of taking it. And even in that moment, like you just said, where Austin says out loud, I feel liberated right now, which is crazy to say to the person that you just admitted that you threw under the bus. She didn't get mad about it. She did point out, well, I'm glad you're
you feel
liberated. But I don't. Now I feel like I'm in a terrible spot and I don't know what to do because I just lied to my best friend right to her face. It's not going to work out. You can't keep all of your friends. And that's pretty much, I feel like that entire episode was just about everybody trying to smooth things over instead of just facing the real facts.
I agree. And the next scene, we're at Whitney and Patricia's house. And this is where we get a weird drop in from Whitney, or I guess Patricia's the one that brings it to light, about a nudie pic from Taylor to Whitney.
A la Ken Vanderpump.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty much a Ken moment right there. But I'm so confused about the premise of this, and it looks like they're going to get into it more next week. But like, he says it was a joke, and it says "come one, come all" is the caption.
Who else said that explicitly no less than 5 minutes later?
Oh,
Shep said it to Craig on the bench. He said, I'm way more of a come one, come all
do you
type of
think she
person.
sent it to him too?
Maybe, but I don't know because the timeline is obviously going to be skewed. We don't know how long ago she sent the nudie to Whitney. It sounds like she sent it to a lot of guys, probably on Snapchat, which, do what you're going to do. You want to do that? It's kind of a very weird caption to put on a nude picture of yourself. We don't have to get into that.
No,
But
no kink shaming here.
for her to say in the caption, come one, come all, and then as soon as Craig's talking to Shep about his pheasant party, I'm way more of like a come one, come all kind of guy. I don't really want anything to
I didn't pick
get
up
any
on
troubles. It was crazy. It blew my mind when he said that, and it was the very next scene.
Well, I'm sick, so I'm not picking. I'm not nearly.
No, it's
as
okay. I got
boy.
you.
Appreciate it. But we get this scene with Craig and Shep, and they're getting drinks, and this is where, we hear from Shep's side. He's like,
You don't want to talk more about mother and son sharing nudes?
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, great call. See, again, I'm sick. You got to pull me. You got to reel me in. Yeah, wait. What the fuck? What a weird, bizarre thing to say. Like, in what world? And by the way, it's actually not all that surprising because of
It's not. It wasn't
creepy
surprising at all.
aristocrat, like nepo baby, like mommy, look at this picture that this.
I don't
girl sent me."
think he showed her the picture. I think he mentioned Taylor sent me a nude and she had this at the bottom.
No, she saw the picture.
You think she saw the picture?
1,000% she saw the picture.
I think she said in the scene that she didn't see the actual picture.
Bullshit. He
You-
showed her
you
that
still think-
picture.
yeah.
Yeah, because look, I love those two for what they are now. It took me a long time to get there. But if you don't think some weird shit happens behind those doors, you are stoned. All right? Like I just assume that about like old money families across the world. Like just there's weird shit.
There's definitely some weird shit going on there.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Illuminati, diamond, right? Is that what it is? The diamond or the temple?
I think it's the temple.
Eye.
The eye of the yeah.
Eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't come after us. We don't have that much money. But, but Shep and Craig are getting drinks, and Craig's upset with Austin, rightfully so. And Shep's like, well, man, like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, he apologized, and he manned up, and he told the truth. It's like, he manned up and told the truth because you backed him into a corner. That was
Yes.
not a righteous move. Second, he has lied about this for months, like a half of a year, to Craig's face, to your face, Shep, to everybody in the group's face. There's no reprieve from that. And that's what bugs me about these people, is because you don't get a pass because you're emotional about it in the moment. Austin's really good at turning it on when he wants to, but that's not genuine. And that doesn't give you a freebie to be a douchebag for 6 months, act like it's the most emotionally traumatizing thing in the world that you fucked your friends over. And then you have this breakdown in front of them. You're like, I can't live my life without you. I can't. You just throw out these massive words and massive claims that you can't possibly go on without these people. Meanwhile, in the moment when you can make a choice to not fuck yourself over and not fuck your friends over, you do the wrong thing every single time. And thank God Craig's like, no, we see this. This is a pattern with him. Austin finds out that he fucked up. He gets mad at people because he wants a medal for coming clean about it after he gets caught. And he gets away with it time and time again. And it's getting so frustrating to watch. And that's where I go back and forth on Austin. Again, good for TV? Yes, undeniable. But the fact that he gets passes over and over and over again, I'm ready for somebody to actually check this motherfucker, to actually grab him by the scruff of his shirt and be like, if you do this again, I'm going to punch you in the teeth. Because you need to stop stepping on people's toes, stop involving yourself in other relationships, and stop being a dog. The fact that we can call him a dog 3 years in a row, dude.
Yeah.
3 years in a row. Like, fucking grow up.
Well said.
Thank you.
Way to go.
I don't know how that
There's
came.
a lot of sick energy there.
And you know that I always like to point out when I see certain things, they're definitely sponsored by Jeep. We see Wagoneers pull up, boom, boom, boom. Because Craig pulls up in a Wagoneer, and I was like, ooh, that's a really nice car. Then Austin pulls up in a Wagoneer, and he gets out of the back. I'm like, oh, they're just sponsored by Jeep.
So they're sponsored by Jeep and Buick.
I think, are they the same umbrella company?
No.
Are you sure they're not both GM or something?
Buick is. But
Jeep is not?
Jeep is Chrysler.
You can't tell me that they all pull up in Wagoneers separately.
They do, but in the first episode, you made it a point. Shep pulled up in that
I
Buick
think
and they
Shep is-
zoomed in.
I
You think Shep personally is sponsored by Buick?
Oh, I'd love to know that.
That would be
if they
funny.
have individual car sponsorships.
I don't think that it crosses over to production, but I don't know. Pick a lane, figure out what car you want to have
I like the
sponsored.
Wagoneers better.
Wagoneers are way better.
Yeah, they're really pretty.
I don't like Jeep people.
Jeeple. But the whole premise of this dinner is crazy. It's bizarre. And this is what I was saying about like weird things that happen in these kinds of families.
Yep.
Like in no world should you be inviting all of these people to your friend's house, by the way. You're not even going to, like, I guess it's a neutral site. That's the least you could say about it. But why are you going to these people's house for this pheasant dinner? Just because this man can cook? Have him at your house or have him at Craig's house. Have him at anybody else's house. Don't go bring this drama into Caleb and whatever that lady's name is. And they were
I
weird
want to say
too.
Lisa.
I don't know. They gave me the heebie-jeebies. The whole
Why
situation.
do they give you the heebie-jeebies?
Honestly, bro, it looked like a scene from Get Out. Like just that family, like just hanging out and everything, and it was bizarre.
I do agree that it doesn't make any sense why you would allow or why you would welcome that craziness into your house.
It's weird.
But
because they want to be on TV, and then it's just
probably
creepy.
the TV thing, but it also seems like maybe they were childhood friends and Caleb's not on the show, and I don't know. There's some shit going on there.
Well, regardless, we get to see Taylor get there, and little Craig's like all over her, and like Shep's crying, and this is where I'm reminded. I'm like, you don't get to cry and act like, oh, I just miss her. Blah, blah. You cheated on her. To your point, credit where credit's due. In his confessional, he's like, I don't miss being in a relationship. I miss being close to Taylor and Craig.
Yes.
So, all right, at least he's self-aware in that regard, where he's not like, I just miss us, and he just misses.
I think it was a fake cry too, by the way.
Probably.
He was just wiping his eyes.
Yeah, probably.
I only know that because Paige was looking at him while he was doing it, and Paige had a slight smirk on. By the way, how fucking happy is Paige that she's here during all of this?
Oh my God, dude, she's a kid in a candy shop.
Exactly. She's so excited to be there. She's talking to Austin. She gets to look over and see what Taylor's doing. She gets to spy on Taylor and Olivia's conversation. She is loving it.
And she also knows, like,
I'm happy for her.
She can't get drug into this in any way, shape.
No.
She's completely clean and absolved of all of these
Which is so
things.
funny because in the first episode, there was a possibility where the women were going to go after Paige because they think that she didn't like them.
Right.
And we have nothing from that because this
sidestep.
has overshadowed everything.
She sidestepped it completely.
Maybe it'll come back at the end of the season because I do want that to be a good focal point towards the end because it'll help us and also maybe even help Paige and Craig focus on their relationship and where you want to be. And are you going to be part of this group or no?
I think it's important to get her involved in this group for Craig's sake.
Yeah.
Because even when they're talking about the drama at Craig's house before the party, she just seems disinterested. So I'm glad when she gets there, she's like, ooh, this is pretty juicy. And she starts to, then we get more out of Paige.
Look, right now, Southern Charm is way better than Summer House.
Oh, absolutely.
Although maybe next year might be, oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
This next season's going to be a little dicey.
We got a lot of irons in the fire. Yeah. Took me a second, but we got there. The conversation with Shep and Taylor doesn't need to happen. It really does not. And I think that kind of shows you that this is not an issue between the two of them. Because Shep tries to say that he has a problem with it. And like, you really mean to tell me in this day and age, like, all you did was kiss? She's like, you told me all you did was kiss the girls out in Texas or whatever. And he's like, good point. Like, and
I like that Taylor didn't back down. I feel like that conversation for us needed to happen because it needs to put Shep in his place. Because like I said earlier, he feels like he's in a position of power right now. He feels like he's vindicated. Taylor did something that's way worse than what he did during the relationship, even though he cheated on her with multiple women and lied to her face the entire time.
I don't think it's way worse.
You don't think it's... I think his is way worse.
His is way worse.
Yeah, I think his is way worse because he betrayed the trust of the relationship.
Yes,
to someone who he was crying about seeing his dog again, whatever. But I think that the conversation does need to happen because you get to see Shep's true intentions. He is coming from a position of power in his own head right now. He now has an in back to Taylor. He can nag her a little bit, say that she did something wrong because he was never able to do that during the relationship because he was always the one who was doing something wrong. He feels like he can do this, and maybe in a sick, twisted way, it'll bring him and Taylor closer together where they'll be friends and he can watch her play with his dog at some point in time. Instead, she shuts that shit down right away and says, no, you did this to me and said that you only kissed other women. You didn't. We know you didn't. So get it out of my face with this shit. But she was still receptive to a lot of things. And I even saw a hand on the back as he walked away. So
but the weird part at the end of it, she's like, this isn't like a pass for you to go like sleep with whoever. It's like, whoa. That made no sense to me.
No, that didn't.
You don't get to say that. He can go out and sleep with whoever he wants. You have no say in the matter. You can't say it. It still upsets me. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter regardless of the Austin situation, but now that you have made out with his best friend, like, you really have no say.
Yes.
He's allowed to do with whomever he wants to. But, except maybe your mom. But, Olivia arrives, and I felt so bad for her when she walked in that door. Because she, one, doesn't know what she's walking into. Two, why, Shep? Why is this a good idea? Like, this is where I legitimately started to feel like creepy and gross, and I didn't get the premise of it all, and the conversation between Olivia and Taylor happens in the middle of the living room. Take her somewhere else, man.
I think that's more on Taylor because she knows what the contents of the conversation
It's definitely on Taylor. I'm just saying, like,
I'm talking I don't blame
everybody.
Shep for that. Yeah, it's really everybody else knows except for Olivia, which always sucks.
Especially walking into
Taylor
a room.
did try to talk about it and wanted to do it in person, and Olivia wasn't receptive to it. But again, Olivia does not understand what's going to happen. She probably thinks it's just going to be more smoothing it over. There's no new information. Okay, cool. You are putting her in this corner. Taylor stops and says, let's try to get this conversation over with right away. I want to have it face to face. And instead of saying, let's go outside,
Or in another room.
they go 5 feet away from everybody else. Like, you need to understand what's going on here and what you're going to say and prepare for a reaction that might be fucking outlandish. Rightfully so. Instead, you do it 5 feet away so that everybody can ease in. Everybody can hear everything that's going on. And I think that's fully on Taylor. I don't know what Shep's supposed to do in that situation, but we'll get to the Shep at the end of the dinner, of course.
I'll tell you what Shep should not do. He should not walk into the room when they're having the conversation and say, guys, everybody's okay. Dinner's ready.
It would be better if everybody sat down with their dinner and maybe Olivia or Taylor looked over and saw everybody sitting down and made a decision. Let's table it and go back to dinner. Or we can take this somewhere else away from the dinner and then we'll come down and eat later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Shep should not have stepped in there.
No, and then you have to forcibly watch these people sit down and eat. Taylor is sitting next to Olivia at the table, which is so funny.
Next to Olivia and Shep.
And Shep, I know, which is crazy. But the dinner, again, we see Austin's true colors. Austin is the victim now. I don't understand how you can talk to everybody else, but you can't talk to me. She doesn't owe you a fucking thing, bro. She doesn't have to talk to
dated
you.
for 3 months. I'm so tired of this shit.
I know. One, you
It's
dated
so
for 3
dumb.
months. Two, you're the one that fucked this up. If she
Yeah.
wants to sit at the end of the table and act like you don't exist, that's her prerogative. She doesn't have to give you the time of day. You're gross. She is not. And I'm so glad that when they went outside together and Austin tries to do his stupid puppy dog thing where he backpedals and says, I can't possibly live without you. I need you as a friend. Where was this energy for the past few months? And I'm glad she pointed that out. If her friendship was so important to you, why were you not trying to pursue that friendship before to smooth it over? Now that you got caught with your pants down, now it's a priority for you to make things okay. But in the past, it didn't matter. All he's trying to do is smooth it over, exonerate himself so they can move forward, and he doesn't feel guilty. That's narcissistic behavior. He's so concerned about himself that he can't see, oh, this is probably done because I'm gross. I fucked her over 16 different ways. And the cherry on top, as Olivia points out, is the makeout with Taylor and then the lies for 6 months.
I'll just never understand the energy to date a girl for a couple of months, be an asshole to her, completely play with her feelings at the end of everything, and then say a couple months later, I just really need you. I feel like we were meant to be friends.
Yeah,
what a fucking weird sentence.
That's a bizarre sentence.
Could you ever imagine feeling that about somebody that you knew for a couple of months? Like, you went on a fucking cruise or something and you met a guy there and he was a really cool dude and you guys had like a bunch of great nights, kissed a little bit, got him sick. You know how it goes.
Oh, me?
But, yeah, you. And then at the end of it all, you text him and say, I feel like we're really meant to be friends. Like, it's fucking weird behavior.
It's bizarre.
It's bizarre behavior.
It's bizarre to do with
It's-
anybody.
It's weird behavior of people of like the same sex, let alone another girl when you're a straight guy that you dated.
It
Makes no sense. Like, I really liked what I got to know through those 3 months that we were dating. And I feel like we'd just be better as friends, but like really good friends that like,
We're
you know
meant
what?
to be
Maybe
besties.
sometimes we're drunk and like we hook up. Like, I just don't understand any of it. It just, when he said that, I audibly laughed.
I did
Because
too.
it's just goofy.
I
It's just
sick
weird
chuckled. I was
behavior.
like, it's fucking crazy. It makes no sense to me. I hope he gets exposed this season. I hope that like none of this shit works. The only person I don't want coming after him is JT. I don't need to hear it. And again, I think he's good for the show, but I think he needs to pick a different lane.
You better be careful with that good for the show thing. You had an opportunity to
dangerous
just kind of get
game.
out of it. Now you're
It's
talking
a
about it
dangerous
again.
game. I'll play it. I'll
Give
play
him
this
the ammo.
game.
I think he will. That's the other thing. I think JT will try to insert himself now.
Oh, he
now that
will.
his role is done, he did what he had to do. He's still on the show, weirdly. He's talking to Craig. He's going to make this about him.
We're gonna get some
and put
Angie K
himself right in the
moments.
middle. Yes, Angie K moments indeed.
Where he
And
bops in out of nowhere. What?
I think we're overdue for a Southern Charm fight. I think we need an actual brawl, not the fucking Craig and Austin thing that we were supposed to get last year where it
Oh,
looked
the
like they were
wrestling.
fighting. And then they were just wrestling because they were really drunk. And Craig wasn't that drunk, but, well, no, Craig was actually way drunker. That's kind of what they build it up to. We're overdue for for a
little
good
scuffle.
old-fashioned Southern fight.
A little scuffle, some fisticuffs.
Yeah, a little fisticuffs.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. I'm not
Nobody
wishing
gets
death
hurt.
on
No,
anybody.
nobody gets hurt.
No hospitals.
Maybe like a
Just,
shiner.
yeah, a couple shiners.
That's
you
it.
know,
It's good.
couple
By the way,
bruises.
for bros, if we're gonna talk bro code and stuff, sometimes it's all you need is a little scuffle, couple of black eyes, and you move on. Maybe that's what the show needs.
And now I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Manscaped. Finding an electric trimmer is nearly impossible, honestly. Sometimes you just go into it haphazardly, not knowing what the hell you want. You get 15 little devices to add to the top of it. You want different levels of hair. You want this and that. I don't really use a ruler to figure out how many millimeters of hair I have. You know what I'm talking about? And look, I'm not just talking about beard hair. I'm talking about hair on top of your head. I'm talking about that unwanted body hair. Manscaped can help you out. It makes a lot of sense. It's easy because we are dumb. They explain things in ways that make sense to us. And if you're looking for something that's really going to help you out, Manscaped now has the Performance Package 4.0, and it is a game changer. Inside that package, you're going to find their lawnmower, great name for a beard trimmer, 4.0, weed whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, and many more things that you can put on this device that's really going to make you feel a lot better, and it's going to give you a little bit more confidence. And that's what we want when you're trimming that unwanted body hair. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BravBros at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BravBros. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
But that takes us to RHONY, and this is the season finale. So I feel like it's been somewhat of a roller coaster. I will say I thoroughly enjoyed the season. I think that it started off great. I think it lulled a little in the middle. I think there's a lot of things, a lot of positive things to grow from, and I think it's a great first season. I feel like people are still holding on to the bring the OGs back. You stopped watching them. All right, I'm sick of this argument. I'm so done with it. I saw it today because someone like posted, "How do you feel now that the season's wrapped?" So many people like, bring back the OGs. You stopped watching them. Get over it. They weren't working.
Maybe they were one of the 5 that were still watching.
Well, I don't know because it was like 15 comments. You stopped watching Dorinda. You stopped watching Sony. You stopped watching your favorites. So shut up about it. Seriously, move the fuck on. That is not what this show is.
They're probably
It's just
stalking them.
annoying.
Yeah.
Like it's such a baseless argument. It's just frustrating. It's just a bunch of people that have no time, or sorry, all the time on their hands.
All the time, yeah.
And they're just throwing this crap out there. It's like, give the show a shot. Stop watching it from the lens of comparing.
Just don't watch it. You
Or
know
just
what?
don't
Like
watch
if
it,
you
don't
feel
talk about
that
it.
weird about it, that you need the OGs back and you don't want to watch it, don't spread your stupid hate all over the internet.
It's just
Nobody
annoying,
cares
man.
what you have to say.
It's just annoying.
They
But
care what we have to say.
stop it.
Influencers.
I can't. I don't have the energy to
We're
fight
back
you.
again, baby. I will say I did feel like this. What?
That was like a intro. I like that.
Oh yeah. No, I will say that I do feel like this episode in particular, completely forgot it was the season finale.
Yeah.
There was no substance to this.
It wasn't
episode.
like a major like banger at the end. Like
Uh-uh.
usually they come in
Usually-
hot, or
yeah.
they smooth it, right? Like you get one of the two. It's either
kind
like
of
boom.
smoothed, and then it
Not
ended
really,
on a
though.
hot note, and then it wasn't a hot note, and it ended kind of sad actually with Brynn. But anyway, let's just get into the episode. Why don't you start us off over there, Chief?
All right.
I'm
Well,
taking your intro energy.
I like it. I need that kind of support tonight. Ubah and Erin are doing bumper cars, and it's weird. And this is kind of Erin's MO. Like she says she feels bad about Pavitt, but then she starts poking holes in Pavitt's response. And this goes back to when they were at Swingers and they were saying, you know, why do you love your spouse, or what's your favorite thing about your spouse? And she is stuck on the fact that Pavitt said, I can do whatever I want. That's not what he said. And we've seen a clip of it over and over again. And I get that they won't see that until the show airs. And I hope they bring it up at the reunion because that's not what he said. And I'm so glad that, and this is where Ubah takes all of the steps back. Like I know she had a couple of episodes where it was like so.
Yeah, it was just the Anguilla stuff.
That's all. Anguilla, dude.
No,
That's actually what it's called.
don't care.
Okay. But she's back in my good graces by far because she just makes sense. She's like, it's nobody's business to talk about this. Like I don't understand why you need to poke holes in it. And also, that's the most loving thing you can say. I love this person because they let me be me. And I was like, fuck yeah, Ubah.
Not only did she do that, she also compared it to herself and made it like a personal thing.
Yeah.
Saying that that's exactly what she would like to find. And even in her confessional, she didn't understand. And this is something that we were talking about for weeks. Loser energy is when you have to poke holes and meddle in other people's relationships.
Fact.
Leave them alone. Nobody cares. Stop bringing it up.
But we do find out that Ubah did not appreciate David's line of questioning about her, needing a man, or her, why are you not married? Why are you not in a relationship? Whatever. That's where we get the little clip of her leaking to Cy, like, hey, I do have a man. He lives in Connecticut. I'm keeping it on the down low. I don't want anybody to blow up my spot. Which will come back and blow up her spot in about 30 minutes. But moving on from there, we get Jessel and Brynn, who are also out in Central Park, and they are going to get a tree for Mimi. And I just like pointing out these scenes because I think they're sweet. And I think that it's interesting that Cy can connect with Brynn, and we do see a softer side. It's not
See that.
It's not like soft and squishy and like sweet, but it is softer than we're used to. Like, you can tell that she doesn't like to open up, but I'm glad that at least in this moment, and I'm not giving Cy any passes, I think that she still is brutal, but it's there. Like, if she can explore that a little bit more, I think she would have done herself so many favors this season. And it might be too little too late, honestly. If they don't bring her back, I'm fine with it.
I'm fully fine with that. My thought during this, pretty much alluding to exactly what you just talked about, I kind of feel like I understand Jessel a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe Jessel understands that Cy treats people that she can relate to a little bit better than the people that she can't relate to.
Oh, so she makes an
Yes,
effort
so
to
she's
relate.
making an effort to try to relate to
Wow.
Cy. And I might be completely off on
No,
this.
I think that
But
has
during that,
right.
you can see that Cy actually cared what Brynn was talking about. She even brought something up about the ducks that I completely forgot about when she
Yeah,
was
under
talking
the
about Mimi
tree.
before. She brought up the ducks, and immediately Brynn goes, I really appreciate that. Thank you for pointing out the ducks. Cy can be considerate, but she has this weird like speed bump to get into that point of her life, I guess, to be considerate, that you have to relate with her on a different level. And she said as much in the confessional. I feel like Brynn and I have gone through a lot of similar things. We've had a similar path, and I can relate to her a little bit more. So I do feel when she talks about those things, you can feel for everybody. You do not have to relate to people on a core level to understand how they feel. It's called being empathetic. She's not really empathetic. She is exclusively empathetic.
Oh,
And I feel like that's where she is. And I feel like that's why Jessel was trying to relate to her, because she understands maybe a little bit more than what we've seen through Side the entire season. She gets, I need to be able to relate to her for her to like me. That's what I was trying to do. And it blew up in her face, which sucks. But it's really because Sai is kind of an asshole.
But moving on, Jessel's doing a photo shoot. She's starting an e-commerce company that I believe that they ship ready-to-wear jewelry and accessories from the Middle East or around the world, or at least to the U.S., and they are...
Middle East and India
Is that what it was?
to around the world, yeah.
Okay. And she's doing a photo shoot at Jenna's apartment, which I fucking love Jenna's apartment, and I don't think Jenna's coming back next year, and that makes me sad. Ubah gets there and has to walk up a billion stairs in heels because the elevator's broken, and we get a chat between Ubah and Jessel, and they're talking about the Brynn and Jenna conversation. And then we saw that the other night where they were all at Jessel's and Pavit was there. And Ubah just points out, Erin's still talking shit about Pavit and about like what was said at the dinner at Swingers. And Jessel finally is like, you know what? I'm just over it. I'm over it. And Ubah agrees, like, marriage and relationships are off limits and weak people fight that way.
Yep.
I think that's perfectly said, because if you compare, like, just looking at the interactions, right? Who's more insecure? Jessel and Pavit or Abe and Erin?
You already know the answer to
Abe
that.
and Erin, like, leaps and bounds. Watching them interact, it's like, who are you trying to convince? Each other or us? When I watch Jessel and Pavit, I'm like, that's a couple. That is a
I
married
think
couple.
Those are best friends.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That they razz each other. Like, did I give Jessel shit in the beginning of the year because I didn't care for how she was talking to Pavit? I did. I stand by that.
I think it was just. I think it was nervous energy. Now that I'm
It
looking.
might have been. I stand by it. She was being too rude to him. But what we've seen in recent episodes, like, yeah, that's a real relationship. They take a couple of digs here and there, but they clearly support each other. Should Pavit say that Sai's bipolar? No. Should he call her a fucking bitch? No. But at the same time, he's defending his girl. So you know what? Don't really care, honestly. Like, if you want to say that about someone that's talking nothing but shit about your wife, yeah, fuck it. I'm not going to throw him against the wall for saying that she's bipolar or calling her a bitch. She was being a bitch. He's standing up for his wife. Nobody else is. It's just frustrating. It's really frustrating because we have to keep hearing about it from this other crew of Erin and Sai. And I think, and we talk about this in the past, where they don't see what's happening until the end of the year.
Right.
I think that Sai and Erin think they are fucking killing it.
Sai at least has been true to herself, I feel like, this entire season. Erin has been on a roller coaster.
Oh, she's up and down.
She's gone from, but if you really think back in the beginning of the season, Erin was the one who was being trampled on by Sai at every fucking turn. She finally got to a point where Sai is not coming after her anymore because Sai has a new target. Sai's the bully of the group. I mean, we can all agree to that.
Now.
She's the bully of the group, and people mistake bullies for being cool. Erin is doing that with Sai right now. She's finally in her good graces. And look, I think that the parrot comment was funny last week.
Yeah.
I think the way they handled it at the end of the episode was hilarious. But in this in-between thing, Erin is in denial. You are echoing everything that Sai is saying because you want her fucking gratitude. Literally everything that Sai has said, you then spewed over to Ubah. You didn't have those thoughts before you talked to Sai. Before Sai voiced her opinion on what Jessel was doing, you then carried it over to Ubah, who checked you, and you didn't know what to do. Lo and behold, it's because it wasn't your original thought. You're just carrying a thought over to another person. You got shit for it, and you don't know what to do.
Agreed. But during this scene where they're costume shopping together, that's where the pet parrot thing comes up again, like you said. And Erin brings up to Sai that Ubah's not thrilled with David's comment about about her needing to date somebody or whatever. And Sai goes on the defense of David, but you can tell this struck a nerve a little bit because she goes on David's defense at first, and she's like, he compliments all of my friends. And sometimes I'm like, hey, David, like, I'm right here. And I'm like, yeah, because he's saying way too many nice things to Ubah in front of you. That's fucking weird. You should have an issue with that. Not with Jessel and Pavits, but whatever. But she doesn't like that Ubah said that because the next thing she does is immediately turn into a little snitch, and she rats Ubah out and says, well, yeah, she's fine, by the way. She's dating somebody. It's like, yo, you can't do that. That is 100% snitch behavior. And we see it bite in the ass later.
Super funny about that. Jessel's not allowed to defend Pavit, but you're allowed to defend him. No, it just makes no sense. It's super hypocritical. And I love that Sai's in the middle of this, and we get to see her squirm and try to spin out of it, try to blame other people, and try to get mad at the wrong person. You fucked up, dude. You got to own it.
You got to own it. And she keeps saying, man, then as soon as she says it, she knows too. And she's like, but it's a vault. And here we go. We got the Heather Dubrow vault.
Yep,
again.
we got a vault.
It's like, it's a vault, and I can't tell you. It's like, no, you've said enough, man. You've already said it. Like, all you have. It
also, to
matter.
Erin, somebody who has proven to just immediately turn around and tell somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Like, the worst person you could possibly tell is Erin. And then Erin takes issue that Ubah didn't tell her. It's like, why does everyone get butthurt about little things like that? Like, it's not, who cares?
Well, I do. From a viewer standpoint, I do have a problem with both Ubah and Jenna not sharing their significant others on the show.
I agree with that.
You signed up for that. You can't hide personal details of your life if you're dating somebody. And look, I understand that maybe the significant other doesn't want to be on TV. It's early on, whatever might be happening. But you can do it in a way that's nice. You can say, hey, I've been dating a guy. Talk to your friends in private and just kind of disclose a little bit of information on TV. They just try to hide both things, and I have an issue with that.
I completely agree there. I'm saying, because Erin's not upset that Ubah didn't share it on TV. She's upset that she didn't share it with her personally. And I'm like, what?
2 weeks ago, she was going to punch you in the face and took your sunglasses off of your face because you took her phone.
Yes.
You think she's going to share personal details with you?
Correct. That's where
it was also a really dumb misstep by Ubah to even tell Sai in the first place.
It was.
That is, I know you just said that Erin's probably the last person. Sai is by far the last person in this group that I would tell any information.
I think Sai was gonna rat, and then she did. I was like, damn,
I wasn't sure she was going to rat, but I figured she would use that against her. So if Ubah had issues and she tried to call Sai out for something, she would immediately turn around and use that against her.
The funny thing is, like, what Ubah said is not that damning, and it came out immediately. So imagine if she had said some actually mean shit. Sai probably would have told the entire story of who this guy was. But before Brynn's B-Day, we get a quick scene with Jessel and Pavits, and Jessel's got that raspy voice, which Brynn has already commented, like, ooh, that voice is, like, sexy. You got that sexy rasps going on. She asked Pavits, like, hey, like, do I sound sexy? He's like, do I have to answer that? It's like, you can humor her sometimes, bud.
Yeah,
it's funny.
But she laughed.
But again, real, right? Funny, connection, love.
Yeah,
like,
love,
fuck.
friendship,
like all the
understanding.
Jesus Christ.
But that just goes to show you exactly what he said at Swingers. She
Right.
allows me to be my dumb self. I get to
Right.
go on a trip to fucking Vietnam to go. Oh, I keep saying Vietnam. No, I said Thailand last
is
week. It was Vietnam. Damn it. I get to go on a trip to Vietnam to use miles and have a fucking sandwich and come home, and she's not going to give me shit for it because she just lets me be myself. That's him being himself. That's their relationship in a nutshell.
Yep.
Both of us probably had the same reaction to that. Like, come on, dude, just throw her a fucking bone. Just be like, yeah, you sound great. Instead, she starts laughing. Like, I don't understand your relationship. It looks nice. I like it. It's genuine. Let's just keep that
They're
going.
happy.
And you don't have to listen to me.
Exactly. But we get to Brynn's birthday, and the first thing that we see is David like pulls Ubah aside and has this like profound conversation where he knows that he messed up. And I hate when people do this. This is a big pet peeve of mine. She's trying to explain to him like why it was upsetting. He goes, "Oh, I know. It's like, well, if you knew, then you wouldn't have done it in the first place, David. So instead of saying I know, say I hear you, or okay, that makes sense to me." Like the worst thing you can do when you fuck up is then say, I know, because that just means, all right, then you disregarded it.
Yeah.
To just flat out be rude because you're an asshole.
If you knew, then you know that you were being an asshole.
Correct. I hate that. But Ubah says it's like a teaching moment. I don't think she fucks with David. I
don't think
that
so
she
either.
wasn't really into it,
But
which
you see more once that happens and once Ubah calls attention to it. And I know that you and I talked about David's weirdness towards Ubah last week before Ubah got upset about
did you
it
see
this
the
week.
hug?
Yeah, the hug was awkward.
And they zoomed
But then
in.
you start to look at David's interactions with the other women. He's a little creepy.
He's a
He
creep.
did it to everyone. He walked as soon as somebody walked in. He walked in, saw Brynn, gave her a hug. He said, "I miss you" to Brynn.
Weird.
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 I've got a lot of friends. I've got a lot of friends that have wives. I've never once looked at my friend's wife and said, "I miss you."
That's inappropriate.
I've known your wife for almost 20 years. I've never once told her that I missed her.
She'd probably appreciate it, you asshole.
She probably would, but
You guys have been
who gives a
friends.
shit? Get
Sorry,
over it, Dev. But no, that rubbed me the wrong way. And I feel like I think I still would have noticed it, but it wouldn't have felt as strange if Ubah hadn't pointed out her uncomfortability during that conversation at Swingers.
Yeah.
Once she points that out, we hone in on those
Oh,
little
yeah, I'm
things.
locked in now.
Every single woman that walked into that room, David had either a really overbearing compliment or said, "I miss you" to Brynn. Weird. Really weird behavior.
Yeah, I don't like him. Which is funny. We've completely 180'd on Abe and
know.
David. But that's what we do here. We change opinions. Hey.
Shitty dudes.
Exactly.
Even dudes everywhere a bad name.
Yeah, they should go hang out with JT in Charleston. But Jessel and Pavits arrive, and she walks up to the girls, and I like this move. She walks up, gazes a very like ho-hum, like, "Hey everybody, like good to see you," and walks away. No hugs were exchanged. She's not bullshitting anymore.
Yeah.
And she shouldn't. You've put up with a lot of shit from these women. You don't have to play the game every time. Sometimes you can just do that. "Nice to see you. I'm going over here with my husband. Kick rocks, everybody." And Erin immediately has a problem. Erin like walks over and confronts Jessel, and this just shows you, and you talked about it earlier, Erin has no identity. Erin does not know who she wants to be on the show. She does not know who she wants to forge her alliance with. She's back and forth between wanting to be part of the mean girls and the tough girls and the cool kids versus the goofy, fun, Jessel side of things, where Jessel seemingly is just trying to be silly and have a good time.
Yeah.
And she keeps getting thrown under the bus. On the
But
flip
that's
side,
what Ubah said during the bumper cars. This
Right.
is the Erin that I love, the one who wants to go out and do funny things and not just cause up drama. This is the Erin that I want to hang out with.
then pick a fucking side.
She's got a lot of different personalities, and I think she's just trying to figure out which one fits best in this friend group.
She's probably just confused because Abe makes her play a character every time they have sex. He doesn't want to have sex with his wife, so he makes her play.
You know
like
they're
15
using those masks.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
They're doing
Did
some
you go to a
weird...
mask like that? Little Eyes Wide Shut party? Little Fidelio?
Would I go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not a sex party.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a,
I was gonna say, like,
get in. Would you wear the mask the whole time and have some fun?
If it's a mask party, I feel like this is a loaded question.
I'm not. Nope. Nothing in the chamber.
Dev, no, I'm not going to any weird mask sex parties.
All right, I'll let you know how it goes.
What?
What?
Attaboy. Ayo, Jessel, and again, I'm glad that she. You know what? While talking about this episode, I've completely changed my opinion on it. I like this episode. I like that we saw Jessel come into her own in the last episode. That's what this episode was
It just
about.
didn't seem like a season finale. to
I
me.
agree with that,
Yeah.
but the fact that we saw Jessel, who's been shit on by this crew, and her try to relate, her try to smooth it over, her try to be the bigger person, to see her come out like this, take a stance, say, "You know what? I heard you were talking shit, Erin, And then Sai comes over and she's like, yeah, and I heard that you just don't like me, Sai. And Sai's like, it's not that I don't like you. It's just be real. It's like she hasn't been fake, and that we were at the forefront of like, what's her real deal? Like, who is Jessel really? She's not fake. She's not smooth. She's a little clumsy, but she's not fake.
But I feel like that just comes with getting into a new group of friends and trying to figure out your identity in the friend group. And it's got to be tough because this is a forced group of friends.
Right.
Usually you get to pick your own. And they did have that fucking dumb throwaway, which I can't stand, that we hear this every goddamn show. Your friends are your family that you choose. Enough. It's fucking annoying. Stop saying that. You guys aren't really friends. You guys got thrown together because you're good personalities that might work on a TV show.
Yeah, we do this for a living.
Became friends sometimes.
We know the premise.
Yes, we understand how this all works. I do have to ask you, were you offended when Sai looked at Jessel and said, you're the type that writes shit down in the notebook because you can't remember it?
I didn't take it personally, but I did write something down like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I think it was a subtweet.
You think that they were coming after me?
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? If that's the case, then I'm just honored that they mentioned me. How about that?
That's good. That's a good way to look at it. For you.
This little interaction ends, though, with Jessel finally being like, we're just going to go our separate ways. What I liked about it is Jessel says that and calmly walks away.
Yep.
Says, we're cool.
And goes and gets her husband.
See you later.
Yep.
Sai, she throws a tantrum. She gets loud. She walks away. She's got a problem with it. And it's because she's not used to getting, like, faced. You know what I mean?
And you get that immediate fake confessional from Sai. Wow, Jessel finally figured out if she just ignores me, I'll be happy.
Right. It's
yeah,
like,
okay, dude.
No.
Sure, who you fooling?
Yeah, you didn't win this.
As soon as you get ignored for like 3 minutes, you have to run back over.
Yep. This is where Brynn lost me a little bit, this episode in general, because she tries to, everyone's going after, Jessel did great. She stood up for herself in her own way. She didn't cause a scene. Like, she was calm, collected, said what she needed to say, and moved on. She didn't want to get emotional about it.
Yeah.
It was great. Brynn's like, you need to stand up for yourself. It's like, we just watched her. Yep. She did a very good job of it because she didn't entertain the nonsense. She just said what she wanted to say and moved on. She actually did a great job of standing up for herself. And Brynn's...
I do have issues with a couple of the things that Brynn did in this episode. That's not one of them. I truly don't even think that she even knew that Jessel stood up for herself.
Oh, you don't?
Because once she walked in, she did give a warm hello and happy birthday to Brynn. Brynn walked away. So Brynn wasn't really there. And it is her birthday party, and there were a lot of other people there, not just these people. So I did see Brynn like kind of mixing it up with other people during this whole thing. So I really don't think that she knows that Jessel had just stood up for herself. Okay. She came back to the conversation a little bit later. But that doesn't give her a pass because she did some other shitty things.
Well, in light of that, humor me on this one. Do you think that at a certain point in the night, Brynn looked around and noticed that her party was not all about her, and she brought up the new year, new you, let's air our grievances kind of deal?
Yeah.
She could take center stage and also drop a fucking bomb out of nowhere. There was no need for this comment to come out in the open. She calls out Pavit for saying that Sai's bipolar, and then, to her credit, reels it in and says, but he said immediately, he rescinded that. He said, I don't mean it like that. But then he called her a fucking bitch. And the way that she said it was a harsh F and a harsh B with a solid
I just love that Pavit didn't back down from it, though.
In the confessional?
In the confessional, he's like, yeah, did I was a little emotional. I was defending my wife. Yeah, I probably did call her a fucking bitch.
He said if I called... He said if I called her a bitch, she was probably being a bitch.
That's great, though. And I don't know, because I think that Brynn was missing in action for a little bit there. She had COVID, I think.
Yeah.
So she did get to miss out on a couple little things. And really all she got was sitting at Jessel's apartment. And that was the only like piece of information that she could then spew and throw it into the group and just see what happens. Just throw a little grenade out there. And she did it twice. So I think that she was just looking for that wow factor, I guess, if you will, which it doesn't really work that often. And I think that's kind of what she was going for. I don't think it was because it wasn't about her. I think this was premeditated.
Okay. All right. So it was because the last few episodes had not been about her.
Yes. I would. Yes.
I like
yes.
that.
Yes.
Well, as this is all going on, Jessel takes center stage again because Sai starts saying, well, she just lies about everything. She's like, what do I lie about? Because I get confused every time as well. I'm like, what has she lied about?
Nothing.
Did she embellish her backstory a little bit?
I don't even think she embellished the backstory. I think she was telling the backstory of a different person.
Right. Like it's still confusing, but like if you want to get frustrated at the runaround, okay, fine.
Sure.
But to say that she's lying, she's like, and then she brings up Vietnam again. And it's like, dude, all that she said was he's going to Vietnam in a couple weeks. He booked a staycation for me. Why are we so stuck on the goddamn date? My man says they're open tickets. They weren't open yet. And I looked it up. Do you know what happened? Whatever that airline is made a mistake and posted these tickets that were supposed to be like $15,000 for like $700. They fucked up and posted it. He got like an alert, like there was cheap tickets, and he bought 3 of them. They said in an article, we messed up, but we're honoring the tickets. But because of that, I would imagine, as with all mileage, there are blackout dates.
Yep.
This all makes sense.
It
if
does.
the timeline's a little skewed, they're not lying about the premise of the
No,
trip.
I just think that Sai can't get her fucking head around the fact that she can't comprehend how it works. You're not as smart as you're letting on. We know this. We watch you sit there and talk the whole time. You open fucking boxes for a living on social media. You're not that intelligent. We try to see you as a smart person, and you are not a smart person because you clearly can't wrap your fucking little mind around this stupid, dumbass fucking thing that you keep bringing up, and it makes no sense that you're holding on to this. If Jessel lied about something, we didn't see it.
No.
And everything that we're seeing in Bravo's archives that they keep bringing out every time they bring it up, Jessel didn't lie. Jessel didn't know. She had no idea. Pavit didn't know. Pavit's looking and saying, yeah, February 9th it opens, but, it shut down right away and I wasn't able to get those, so I knew it was going to come in the next couple of weeks and figure it out. I told Jessel. Jessel knew that. They have 2 kids that run around their fucking apartment all the time. Do you think that they're talking about Pavit's fucking trip to Vietnam and when he's going to be able to do it and when the dates are every single night so that Jessel is fully well versed in all of this? No, just get over it. You're stuck on this dumb thing because you have some weird agenda to go after Jessel because she wronged you in some way. None of us really understand. It just doesn't make any sense. You call somebody a liar on one of these shows, you better know exactly what they lied about and be able to point out exactly what it is. Otherwise, you look like an idiot.
We need receipts. If you're going to play that card, you got to come with ammo. And we know that. We see it happen time and time again. We see housewives get shut down because they don't bring a receipt. If you're going to make a claim, there has to be some basis or else you end up looking dumb, like you just said. We get the clip of Erin dressing as a pet parrot. It was actually funny. I'll give her props there. And like the whole scene between Jessel and Sai and Erin, like squashing everything, like, oh, it's just agree to disagree. We love each other. Bullshit. I didn't believe any of it for a second. I think that was just like to save face. They know it's the last episode, whatever. And I'm curious to see like at the reunion if that rings true because I don't think it's going to.
No chance.
We get the hand job cake cut. I guess that's a hand job if everyone puts their hand on the knife at the same time.
That's what Brynn was calling it.
Yeah, and Jessel's confessional was really funny. She's like, I think that if Brynn gets slapped by 1,000 dicks for her birthday, she would. I was like, whoa. I was on the airplane. I was flying to Texas when they said that. I literally went, ha ha.
Let me turn this overhead light off.
No, did you see that, dude? Literally. You can't make it up. 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:10 flight. And this dude is reading some goddamn book.
What's he reading?
I don't care. I took the picture intentionally so you could see not one other light on in the plane. That's my point. The whole point. If everybody on the plane is not turning their light on and you want to be the one guy to do that, you don't think that's selfish?
No.
That's not rhetorical.
You paid the same money you did, pal.
Oh, that's what people in the comments are saying. Get out of here. No,
you're so mad that nobody agrees with you.
No, so many people agree with me. I just haven't. This is my rose and thorn for the week. I've got like 7 or 8 comments that have said,
curmudgeons.
Nah, dude, it's bullshit.
Get a fucking eye mask if you're gonna sleep.
This is no. I don't trust people.
I don't like it.
Yeah, no,
that was a real response.
Yeah, I'm not cool with that. But this is where we get the Ubah phone call brought to light. And Brynn out of left field just goes, Ubah, I heard you got a man in Connecticut. And the whole room, like record scratch. And everyone just looks up. And Sai is livid because Sai just got outed. That's all that happened. And she tries to get loud. That's Sai's move. She thinks she can win arguments or disagreements by being louder than other people.
Yep.
And she's just doubling down, like, that's her private information. Why would you say that? I didn't say it on camera. It's like, yeah, you did.
She did the same thing when she was calling Jessel a liar 2 minutes ago.
Right, exactly. And so for you to sit there and take this approach of, I didn't spill all the beans, it's like, no, you're at fault here. Ubah's going to forgive Brynn.
Yes.
Ubah's going to forgive Brynn. Ubah's going to forgive Erin because Ubah told Sai.
Yes.
Sai told everybody else.
Sai
Sai's
told
the snitch.
And her biggest thing was, well, I didn't spill all the beans on camera.
Doesn't matter, dude.
Fourth wall break. I love a good fourth wall break. You did not specifically do it on camera. You reined yourself in, but then you went out with Erin and Ubah later that day and decided to tell them way more. That's a problem.
Yep.
Stop acting like Brynn is the person that did this. Brynn, masterclass.
Honestly.
Just throw Sai under the bus and create some fucking shit just to
end it
see
on
what
a
happens.
bang.
I do love that right after that happens, everybody gets pissed off in their own way and everyone leaves. And Brynn's like, well, I thought we were going to go out and rage after this. Like,
Well,
no,
you
dude, you just
ruined
threw a
the-
fucking live grenade in the middle and said, hey, you guys want to go party or what?
Yeah, that doesn't
It
work
wasn't
that
a
way.
disco grenade, you know what I'm talking about?
From Fortnite?
Is that what that's from?
Yeah.
I think that actually exists too, but I don't play Fortnite.
I'm
I'm not a nerd. I play Warzone like a man.
Oh, man. I mean, all in all, it's a good season.
It was
It's
entertaining.
not the best season. It's a good season. There's a lot to build on, and that's the important thing. I think they need to make a couple of casting decisions. I think they need to figure out somebody to bring in if Jenna's gone. If they go the route of former New York housewives, I think it flops. I think it flops really quick.
Yeah, I
do
think
not
it does too.
works.
And honestly, we have watched a lot of clunkers of seasons in just this like year and a half that we've been doing this almost.
This was not one.
This was not one. This was something that I never really groaned or anything when I had to turn it on or wasn't looking forward to something. Like, yeah, there are certain times where I'm watching it that I'm like, all right, yeah, this isn't really super entertaining. But it was never annoying. It was never stuck in the same fucking nonsense over and over and over again to the point that you're just nauseous. It was good. I felt like the pacing was really good. I felt like we got to know everybody pretty well. And I feel like we get to make some pretty harsh decisions at the end of the year. Notice the only person that we didn't really talk about in that last episode, Jenna.
Jenna, because
She's just kind of, she got a little checked out. She even said so herself. Keep the drama over there. I'm going to stay over here.
Yeah, and we
You can't do that too long. Established housewives can do that. This is your first season. You can't, and I don't think she needs housewives by any way.
I think what we saw that last episode and alluding to, she was on Watch What Happens Live last week. I don't think she wants to come back. I think that it wasn't what she was expecting, and I think that it was too much. I don't think she wants to be in the drama.
Reunion's a little rough too. I saw a couple of clips.
Oh, is that
from
what it was?
and
Yeah, I
they
just
go
don't-
after Jenna, saying that she's completely different off
She's like
camera
a
than she
killer
is.
off camera.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I want to see that.
I would have
Show
loved
that, but
to
I
see
feel like
that.
she's afraid to show that because she actually still does have like legitimate business in the background that could be impacted by
I
her
agree.
showing her
She
face on
can't
there.
show too much softness
Yeah.
if she's in the workplace, or I'm sorry, she can't show like how she handles her business on screen,
Right.
because then people she's doing business with are going to be like, oh, well, I know how you work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I will always have a soft spot for Jenna.
I like her. I like her as a person. I think she's cool. I think I'd
I just don't think
enjoy talking to her.
Here it is. I don't think that she needs the show, and I don't think the show needs her.
Yeah, I agree.
But that being said, loved watching her this season.
Agreed. Cool.
Neat. Let's do some questions so I can go lay down because I don't feel good. From Tall Butt 521, not a fan of Taylor or Austin. Taylor is very immature, but were Austin and Olivia a duo? I'll let you take this one.
No, I just like don't think so. I keep getting angry about this. They had a fling for a couple of months. You were on screen. Maybe that deserves a little bit more because you're filming together all the time. But 3 months is not long enough to have this many feelings. This is now twice as long as you guys were together. I think they keep saying 6 months, 6 months.
Yep.
So it's twice as long as you guys were together that you are no longer together. Who the fuck cares? Move on.
Not me.
But you know what? Maybe they're meant to be friends.
Oh, on the flip side, from Lindsel. Even though they are douche canoes, nice, don't Austin and Taylor make a good couple?
No.
Really?
I don't think that Austin.
I could
Look,
see
I mean, I think it makes sense, but I feel like Austin's going to cheat on her. So no.
Okay.
It's just I can't see Taylor. I don't know where she is in her head at this point, but it seems like she's just willing to do anything that anybody wants to do because she just wants some friends. And Austin's showing her a lot of attention. He's showing her some caring moments. She acts like she thinks that she knows that Austin's a better person than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird situation. We know he's not. I don't know. No, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
You think they are?
I think they make sense if Austin wasn't such a dog.
But he is.
I know. I'm saying if that was if he was settling down, like, and not gonna be that
Watching
guy.
Craig.
Right. I could see those two making sense if he was actually working on himself instead
I think as long as there's one other of the Three Musketeers that's single and just kind of doing their own thing, the others won't settle down.
I agree with that. From Pineapple Bex, is Cy catching so much fire because there's nothing else to discuss this season? Absolutely not. There's plenty to discuss. Cy is just focused on one thing, and it's coming off horribly. She's just not doing a good job.
Yeah.
She's not playing the game the right way.
Yep.
Just a rookie mistake. From Bobby J. Gorski, what do we think Pavit's really doing in Vietnam? Multiple times for 24 hours? Getting a fucking sandwich, Bobby. He's getting a sandwich.
Getting a sandwich.
Don't wink. I don't think he's doing anything shady.
kidding.
Is he going to go out, maybe, like, go to a bar and get fucking hammered? Like, I don't know. Do I think that he's going out there to cheat on Jessel? No.
Yeah, I don't see that
Unequivocally,
either.
no, I do not.
I understand like the scenario if I didn't know somebody and watch them on TV and watch their relationship. If you just said, "Hey, this guy goes to," I wanted to say Thailand again.
Yeah,
This
Vietnam.
guy goes to Vietnam for 24 hours. I would say, "What's he doing over there?" Actually, you know what? If he was going to Thailand, I would absolutely say, "What's he doing over there?"
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Bangkok. And last one from, Ederinda Headlights. Boom, nailed it. Do you get the sense Erin and Cy planned this Jessel thing pre-filming, but misjudged how it would land with the viewers?
No,
I don't think it was pre-filming. I already said this in the episode. I do think that they think they're crushing it during the season, and when they watch it back, they're going to be like, oh, we come off as assholes. I think Erin's going to think that. I don't think Cy is apologetic ever.
No, I don't, and I don't think it's premeditated at all. Or else Cy would have a better argument for Jessel being a liar than talking about Pavit's potential trip to Vietnam.
Yeah.
I feel like there would be a little more substance there, a little more thought behind it. I feel like it's all organic, and Erin's just kind of tagging along so she doesn't get in trouble.
And a quick plug, don't forget, we have our live show in LA November 19th at the Bourbon Room, so get your tickets for that. It's a Friendsgiving with Zach Peter. It's going to be an absolute blast. We're really looking forward to it.
The Shiny City.
What?
Is that what they call it?
LA?
Sparkles, shimmering and sparkling.
I don't think that's what they call
Oh,
LA.
it's something. I don't know. The land where dreams are made. That actually might be
Hollywood.
Bollywood.
Stop, dude. I need to go to bed. Remember to follow us on all of our socials at Brav_Bros. Subscribe to our YouTube at BravBros Podcast. Seriously, on that one, that helps us out a lot. If you have a YouTube page and you're not subscribed, just do us a solid and click that button. Even if you don't watch, just click the button. Help
Or
us
do
out.
watch.
Or do watch and
You
click
want to
that.
see what we do when we're talking?
It's nonsense.
It's nonsense. We do a lot of hand motions.
I'm a big hand talker. Stop it. Fuck. Do you have anything else? No, you don't.
Feels.
Go Phils, go Birds. Red October lives on.